We are at the University of Michigan at the Wilson Center, and today we are here with...
I'm Holden. I work on the propulsion sub-team for the Hyperloop.
And I'm Emmanuel. I handle all the media involved with this project.
And they are going to show us their Hyperloop. What do you call it?
Pod.
Pod?
Hyperloop pod.
The Hyperloop pod. Let's go.
So we will have a small window to, when SpaceX says, all right, you guys are up, we'll have a small window to make sure all of our low battery power management systems running, our high battery power management systems working, motor controllers on, belts tension. We'll have about, I think, 4 minutes to set that all up, fairing on into the pod, or into the vacuum, and then they'll close it off, and we should be done with our run in 30 seconds. We should hit 300 and then be down to 0 in 3/4 of a mile.
What's the distance, 3/4 of a mile?
Yeah.
And it's going to get up to what speed?
Should be 300.
300 miles an hour
Yep.
in 1/4 of a mile.
Yep.
That beats any track time I've seen.
So this shape here is that. So you could,
Oh, to scale, that's a scale of it?
to scale,
Gotcha.
approximately what it would look like. But yeah.
We'll see.
So a quick rundown of this whole thing. We have basically where the engine's going to be.
Yep, our engines
Belt.
are going to sit here.
Yep.
Belt. This our rear wheel will be here. This a shock attaches to here. We got Fox shocks for any bumps or vibrations, and it'll absorb it. Right here, we have 2 motor controllers that will go right here, because this is right between our battery box and where our motors are at. This will be our battery layer cake. And then here in the front, we'll have our front wheel, and then there will be 2 rotors with 2 braking calipers. And then again, there's a front shock here. So
Cool.
we had a huge report that we submitted to SpaceX. It was a couple 100 pages long, and it went over all the parts, the forces acting on the parts, and why these parts won't break. Like, it showed the analysis, explained why we're doing what we are doing. And they like to have a safety factor. So some of the things are designed to say, this will break it, this material at this thickness will break it this. So we made it this thick, and it's only experiencing this much force. So it's 4 times as strong as it needs to be.
I mean, this concept for us doesn't really end with the competition, because if you take the shape of our fairing and you see, you just kind of even scale it up larger, there's a lot of potential for it becoming a passenger vehicle. And so that is ultimately the reason why a lot of us do this. The reason why I personally do this is to just develop this technology to the point where it can become something that gets us from Detroit to Chicago in half an hour. So you don't have to drive, you don't have to go through TSA, you just get in the Hyperloop and you're there. So that's a lot of our kind of excitement with the project too.
That's awesome.
I'm Dave Hoover. I'm the Director of Outbound Logistics for Meyer. This is highlighting one of the many community events we do for the neighborhoods we work and service. We are setting up a trailer providing the transportation from Ann Arbor, Michigan to SpaceX in California for some very sharp students at University of Michigan that are competing in the finalists for the Hyperloop competition at SpaceX. So we are partnering with them to bring their pod to SpaceX in California for this competition. We're excited to help facilitate this for them. This is one of many events we do throughout the year. In the summertime, we are doing an event basically every weekend, including festivals. We do Make-A-Wish Foundation, Operation Good Cheer, and this one just highlights the students out of Ann Arbor, Michigan competing in the Hyperloop competition. You know, our fleet has a history of being a leader, an innovator in transportation, and these smart students are bringing the next generation of technology to transportation, and we look forward to them competing and wish them all the success.